Music Makers at the Keyboard, Week 15. We completed our mini musicale and our book 1. So this book that they've been going through with joy is now finished. But we're not finished. Imagine the children are like ingredients to a half-baked cake. It's going to take time for them to really digest all of the concepts and ideas that we've been bringing up. This is a process that takes time over many months. Here's a little message from the author of Music Makers at the Keyboard, Jill Hannigan. She writes, "Music Makers at the Keyboard is an introductory method, and as such should be viewed as a beginning rather than an end." Now, as a teacher recently wrote to her in an email, she compared it to baking a cake. None of the individual ingredients even resemble a cake. They have to be brought together, mixed, baked, and in some cases given time to cool before it can be enjoyed. Another way to look at it is to think of what we do in Music Makers at the Keyboard as planting seeds. The seeds of oral development, musical literacy, comprehensive musicianship, etc. This is an easy analogy for me, the teacher, but often we think too often in the case of our younger students, and it really isn't fair to our keyboard students or ourselves. We must remember and constantly remind you that this method was constructed with each concept being introduced and then revisited many, many times in a variety of ways. Because I know that some of the children aren't going to get it the first, the second, or even the third time, but they might get it the fourth time. So don't worry if your child doesn't get a concept right from the very start. Also, when a child appears to meet a particular challenge, we must remember that the child needs to be afforded ample time to consolidate the skill. They have to use it again and again for them to truly master any skill that they learn in this program. So to understand the design of Music Makers of the Keyboard, we will not fall into the trap of expecting perfection. Please don't expect your child to be perfect in every single piece. If you notice, a child may come up and play a piece and have some wrong notes. And did you notice that I don't correct them when they have those wrong notes? I may model the piece, I may sing the piece, we may dance to the piece, and other children may play the piece. I have found that that's the most effective way for children to make their own internal corrections and to come towards that point of mastery. Someone said it this way, we're not working towards perfection, we're working towards precision, which is a much different feeling. It's a process rather than that product of perfection, which again, we're not going for. So we want to avoid the pitfalls of mindless rote teaching. We want to avoid the pitfall of drilling. Although you do hear me taking a pattern and repeating it, I'm trying to get it to a point where they're going to remember the pattern, but I'm not going to the point where I'm drilling it until they get it right. I also am not worried so much about this polished end product. Even though we had our mini musicale and we made these wonderful little YouTube videos that you can share with grandparents, it's really about the relationship of the child to the music. It's not about whether they played that piece correctly or not. So we're going to keep our focus on the real goal. It's the development of positive relationship between children and music, which leads to the development of independent musicianship. So a phrase that Jill often finds herself using with her parents is, "This is just a first wash." Some of the children will get it and some won't until the next time around. I'm going to tell you this ahead of time. Just relax and enjoy this process. We have some great games and ideas coming up in the next book. The next book is going to be Music Makers at the Keyboard Year 2. And at the beginning, it tells you right out that we're going to be working on songs like John Kanaka, Drum Song, and an Indian rain dance called Iona. Yes, they're going to be dancing to a rain dance. They're going to learn new hand positions. If you notice, they've been staying in this 5-finger hand position, but the piano is a much bigger keyboard, and there are many other songs and pieces that go beyond that 5-finger position, and so we'll be moving out of that 5-finger position, and I'll be showing them techniques of how to do that. They're going to learn new keys, So they're in the key of C, D, E, and G, and they still need to learn about F and A and even B. They're going to learn a new kind of mystery song, and up to now the mystery songs have been familiar pieces they can guess the name of. Well, we're going to have some mystery songs where they don't know the piece before they figure out what it sounds like. They're going to start writing out familiar songs, and that's an important development for musicians. They're going to take additional cards and they're going to play with them in keyboard games and notation games. So they're going to spend time becoming masters of different patterns they haven't seen yet, and they're going to get opportunities to compose. So between now and Friday, or now in your next class, your job is to make sure that they're playing their favorite pieces throughout the week, and they're listening to their new listening CD, which was handed out at class 15, and that they remember to bring their cards with them so that we can talk about what they're going to do with these cards. Will they be using these cards again? Yes, they will. Do they need to bring them each week? Yes, they will. However, there are some cards that as we go along, I will begin to say we won't be using those cards anymore, and they can choose to keep them or they can donate them back. So they still need to bring them. They don't bring the song cards with them. Those stay home, and they're continuing to master those pieces. They're adding chords to them and playing them in every key. They'll, of course, be playing them in the new keys that will be coming up. And will be singing and dancing and drumming and doing all the things they love to do. If you have any questions or concerns, this is the time to call me so that we can make sure that your children are having a lot of fun and going towards musical literacy in this program. Thank you.